r/AskReddit. What is never a good idea? Scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, profile pics etc. while going through a tough time. Everyone's life will seem better than yours. Everyone. More people should be friends with me on social media. My life sucks. It'll perk em up. We'd rather suffer than be friends with you. Unprotected ex when you're not legitimately open to making a baby. Yeah, crazy, some people have unprotected ex with strangers regularly. Well, they wouldn't be a stranger the second time. Doing the thing that comes after you say, hey everyone, watch this. Come one. Come all. Come heed the call. Come look. Come stand. Come see. Before your eyes. A sweet surprise. Devised and made by me. A stirring feat. A rousing treat. An act of awe and might. A feast of joy. The perfect ploy. To peak in prompt delight. Observe amazed. Discover. Dazed. The wonders held ahead. Watch this. He cried. And grinned with pride. And that was all he said. Tell me more about this rousing treat. Spinning a scooter while it's near your ankles. I could feel the pain from my childhood while reading this. 27 years old now. Can still feel the dents in my shin from last week. A sitcom about the Geeko caveman. I hate you for making me remember that abomination. Fun trivia. The actress who plays Flo for Progressive, aka the future Mrs. Razor Goat, played a character on that show. Shouting your lost son's name on an island you know to be inhabited by dinosaurs. It's never a good idea. In fact, it's a very bad idea. Wow out. Shawn. Getting on Reddit right before I'm supposed to do something. Edit. I didn't expect this to blow up. I snickered at so many of the replies. Thanks for the laughs. Everyone. Like sleeping. That's me right now. 12:13 AM here in Australia and I need to get up in 7 hours to make pancakes for Mother's Day. Edit. Pancakes went amazingly and she now knows that she's the best mum in the world. Bald tires on your car when you do a lot of high-speed highway driving. Some people try to get every last mile out of tires. Despite the risks. I work at a tire place. We retread big truck tires. And I'd add that you really want to get a decent brand name. With a bonus, if they are made in the US. The tires we get from smaller brands are almost always pretty ducked up inside. Edit. To clarify this post, I'm not suggesting any specific brand. And there are other countries that produce decent tires. My US point is that among companies that do some in the US and some not in the US. The US versions of the same tires tend to have better structural quality. My primary point was that there is a difference between a good and a bad tire, and after seeing that difference I personally believe the extra money for a quality brand is worth the investment. Do your own research before buying on who provides the quality for whatever type of tire your specific car and use case needs. Edit 2. I'm not one to give recommendations for specific brands, let alone specific makes of tires. I work with truck tires, not consumer tires. And ignoring that I'm not a tire expert. I'm really just trying to say to do your research. Never go cheap on anything that keeps you from contacting the ground. Tires, shoes, or mattresses. Invading Russia during winter. Or in the summer, if you can't get the job done before the winter. Username checks out. Driving runk. My uncle is living with a woman who constantly drove runk. She even once bragged about driving runk nearly every day without ever being in a wreck. Thankfully her car stopped running. And they spend too much on booze to get it fixed. So that's not a worry anymore. What a runt. Leaving valuables in your car. Ran in somewhere quickly this morning to use the restroom. Came back out to a smashed window and no wallet. Hide valuables under the seat and stuff. They don't put a lock on the glove compartment to protect your mittens. Spending more than $20 at McDonald's. Especially after 2 AM. Edit. Yes, I wrote dollars twice. I apologize. Every time that I say 2 AM is after 2 AM. Maybe Op thinks that spending over $20 at McDonald's is always a mistake. Golden Corral. Source. I'm at Golden Corral right now. Edit. I'm no longer at Golden Corral. But my statement remains valid. I live in a Golden Corral free area. It's really weird. You would think Memphis of all places would be a good market for one. I had to travel out of state first. Before my first and only time. As often as Jeff Foxworthy advertises for them. You'd think it would be worth going. Just for the chance he'd show up there too. I'll say this much, it's worth going to at least once. Just to say you've been. But like Graceland and Medieval Times. There is not a lot of replay value. Edit. As of a few months ago the above statement no longer applies. I have yet to grace the local GC with my presence. However. Well, what's Medieval Times like? Dating a girl that trash talks other people. She's going to trash talk you as well when you break up or do something wrong. I guarantee it. Edit. Since I'm getting hit from people that clearly have a stick up their bum, or a man, or a hermaphrodite or a rock. Or whatever you enjoy dating. Same for guys that seem to have nothing but crazy exes. I have a good friend and I know every girl he's ever dated personally. And all of them have been legitimately crazy. Some people just attract a type. But yes, what you say is generally correct. Edit. No. I know his username and none of you are him. Going grocery shopping while being hungry. Or the flip side. Don't grocery shop when super full. Nothing looks good, and you leave with not enough. Why am I buying food? I will clearly never need to eat again. Jumping into water without checking its depth. Well, two of my friends went to the sea once, and one of them was tanning, while the other went to jump. Turns out the water is not deep, and he hit his head breaking his neck in the process. The water takes him to the surface, and he screams, and moves his hand. My other friend thinks he was joking, and gives him the finger. 5 seconds later he realizes his friend is in trouble, and he pulls him out. It's been 4 years he can't walk or take a piss on his own or even move his hands completely. I thought this was gonna be a fun story. This was not a fun story. Cheating on your significant other. Came here to say this. Never worth it. Even if the grass is greener. It is better to break it off with your significant other. First. The pain and guilt to you, and the pain and mistrust you cause to your significant other and friends. And if the person you cheated with knows you are a cheater, both of you will never trust each other. If he/she doesn't know, you have more issues of coming clean, and losing them, or hiding it, and having yet another secret to hold in. As sick as it sounds. Cheaters tend to create an emotional barrier and a delusion to justify the cheating. Oh, he's so boring. Doesn't care for me. etc. Loosely related. I remember another comment recently about Op, who is financially tied in a relationship with a guy who loves her, talking 5+ years here. For whatever reason she didn't feel the same way about him, and has never told him this. She has been toying with the idea of leaving him. She cited that once her career is back on track she will feel better about him and the relationship. It makes me nauseous thinking that he is emotionally attracted to her and that Op hasn't ever said anything but is waiting for the right time to crash his world. Commenting on Reddit and expecting anyone to respond. Edit. Holy hit, I seriously wasn't expecting anyone to respond to this. Also thanks /u/tb0255 for the gold 3. Hello there. The angel from my nightmares. Pissing into the wind. Made this mistake yesterday when drunk and managed to piss in my own face. That's some strong wind. And a confusing angle. Going forward when the DM asks are you sure? I've done this as a GM when I really just didn't want the PCs to screw up my elaborately crafted script. Then they decide to do the thing anyway and I have to let them trample all over it. Plus SNIFF plus. Reminds me of a time I was a player and the DM had a carefully crafted story. We got attacked by one of the DM's big story character. I promptly shot him in the face, rolled a crit, and killed him. The session ended there with a I don't have a story anymore. Apparently he was going to surrender after we smacked him around a little bit. But I killed him too fast. Oops. Edit. Man, people have some strong feelings about how other people should play their games. Gas station sushi. It might seem like a good idea at the time. No egg sandwich too. I learnt a lot from Futurama. That episode made me want to eat truck stop egg sandwiches more. Shooting a man before throwing him out of the plane. Unless he's not a big guy. For you. Going up against a Sicilian when death is on the line. It's true. But don't forget you should also never get involved in a land war in Asia. Just never goes the way you want. Cleaning hair out of your razor with your fingers. You just brush your finger the opposite direction that the blades are facing. Voila. Seriously. Are people just sliding the blades across their fingers? It's not that hard. Following a hippie to a second location. Never follow a hippie to a second location. Bullshit. Always follow a hippie if he has a clear second destination. Yeah, that's usually where the good drugs are hidden. Don't take the counter offer when you give notice at your job. It will not work out. Face it. You pursed a different job for a reason. That reason won't actually change, no matter what promises you might get to stay. Even if they have honest motives, it won't get better. It will only get worse, and some of your coworkers/supervisors will be resentful that you tried to get out. Don't go backwards. Keep moving forward. Plus, if no one takes the counter offers, then it encourages the company to give raises more frequently. I had this happen once. I was already leaving because I hated the job. And I looked at them and said, if I'm worth 20% more to you after giving notice, why wasn't I worth 20% more without giving notice? Having been on both sides of the equation, it's very important for employers to keep encouraging their best employees. Something as simple as 2 tickets to a baseball game with the "Hey, great job last week" can go miles in retaining good talent. The job I'm leaving gives out points for going above and beyond the call of duty. I got points one time for coming up with what I thought was a really great on-the-fly solution to get through summit issues that would end up taking 12 hours to fix. When I looked up the little prizes that I could redeem the points for, it was straight up insulting how little the points were valued. If you're going to give incentives, give the employees something meaningful. Going to a movie for a first date. Go somewhere you can talk and walk and explore. You need to get to know each other. Not stare at a screen and be silent for 2 hours. Edit. If you don't already have anything to talk about, how the hell is a movie gonna help? At this point, you're pretty hopeless. Speaking generally, I'm not a fan of movie dates unless I'm comfortable enough with the girl for hugging/cuddling. Otherwise it's 2 people sort of awkwardly sitting next to each other for 2 hours. You should at least be comfortable enough to try the Alpine in the popcorn bit. Ducking like and subscribe.